They've got the risk of sharps and needle stick injuries. If that was in a from a human hospital, they would have the risk of transmitting like HIV, hepatitis, all those sorts of things. And most of the general public aren't vaccinated against all that kind of stuff. And so by putting it all out there, it's not ideal. And also the aesthetics of it as well. So you don't want to be walking around a depot and finding tubes of blood everywhere, or if you've got an animal that's half decomposed and you've got young children running around the tip unsupervised. I don't know why you would, but just in case. Thank you guys. Alrighty. So our legal obligations as far as our medical waste policy goes, we're bound by the Environmental Protection Act, and then we're also bound by the South Australian Environmental Protection Waste and Resources Policy. And we're also bound under the South Australian Environment Protection Waste Management Policy. So the people that reinforce all of this legislation is the Environmental Protection Authority, which is the EPA from South Australia. So they're the boss man in terms of making all the rules, much like Graham and Danny are. Gosh. Just sledge someone with a hammer. Yeah, so the Environmental Protection Agency, they're the ones that write all this legislation and make all the rules in terms of how we've got to make our policies. So we're technically, legally, we're bound to abiding by the regulations that they put out. The AVA, which is the Australian Veterinary Association, they've put out this guidelines book as well, which is the Guidelines for Veterinary Personnel Biosecurity. They released that in 2013, and there's heaps of information in there on disease transmission, risk assessment, personal protective equipment, and all the different types of diseases that can be transmitted, which is why medical waste is so important. This copy is our hard copy, which is in the office, so if you guys want to have a read through, I know a couple of you guys are doing risk assessments and controlling clinical what's that topic that you're doing, like infection control? Yeah, like infection control policies and all that kind of stuff. So if you ever need any extra reference material, all of this stuff's all in here. It's really, 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 really good. And it's also got a little bit of the, it is Australian-wide, but some of the policies for the other states in Australia are very similar to the ones that we have to abide by, and some of that information's in here as well. It goes into a little bit more detail. So you can have a read of that if you ever need to. And we've also got a hard copy of the Environmental Protection Waste and Resources Policy as well, which is in the office too. And so this kind of outlines a few of our legal responsibilities. The ones that apply specifically to us are highlighted, so you can go through and have a bit of a squiz at that if you're interested. So the first part of protecting yourself against medical waste is using your personal protective equipment. So when you're disposing of it, you might have to use some of this stuff to protect yourself when you're handling it to then dispose of it. Being in this clinic, we don't have a whole lot of stuff that we need to use our PPE for in terms of our medical waste. Partly because we don't have an isolation ward here, so a lot of the time we don't have isolation cases here. Most of them we refer up the road to the emergency centre. So a lot of that, like our parvos and stuff like that, we don't tend to have any. I can't even remember the last parvo case we had here, so.
I've only ever seen one, and that was that Rottweiler.
Yeah, yes, the Rottweiler puppy. But it is good if you guys can familiarise yourselves with these different types of personal protective equipment, just so that if you ever need to use it, you will need to use it if we're dealing with chemotherapy patients. So I've got another scheduled training session with you guys on chemotherapy specifically, so we'll go through that in a little bit more detail at that session. But we do have some of our personal protective equipment here to give you guys some practice at trying it on. So, does anyone know what these are?
Face masks.
Yes. What's the difference between this one and this one?
Surgical, chemo.
No, dental, maybe? It protects the eyes, that one doesn't.
Yeah. Alright, Steph, if you want to come up and be our model, you can practice putting these on. And so when would you use your eye protection headgear?
Dentals?
Yep.
To get it in your eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.